Hello and welcome to another Blender Cookie tutorial. This is David Ward, and in this tutorial we're going to go into part 3 of our island tutorial, and hopefully we can get this wrapped up. We're a little off from the original sample image that I came up with, but that's a lot of work that went into that, so trying to compress all that down into a tutorial is a little difficult, but we'll see what we can do. Now, at the end of part 2, I was like, well, I don't see very much grass, but no big deal. And I figured that out is because I had failed to change the material settings there when I created the grass materials particle system. So this is actually what it should look like. So that those little sprigs of grass there actually look a lot better there. So okay, now got a little bit more time to work with now, so that'll be easier than trying to squeeze it into part 2. Something I'd like to do is, if we notice in our sample image, we got a little bit more variation on the little mountains back here. So I'd like to go ahead and do that now. Let's turn off all of these particle systems so I can see the actual island a little bit better. So let's grab the sculpt mode, and draw is already turned on. So let's set the radius down a little bit, strength up, and let's just come in here. And maybe, is it doing anything? It is not. Okay. Oh, I got the ocean selected on accident again. Select the island. Landscape. There we go. And sculpt mode. There we go. Undo that. Make it smaller. A little bit less strong. Just kind of come in here and just randomly. Maybe instead of drawing, I'll just go into sculpt mode. Actually, I'm in there already. Get the grab tool, make it a little bit bigger. Just kind of grab, instead of trying to draw this straight line, we'll just grab. It'll be a little bit more natural looking once we get it. Okay, so you can just kind of just push and pull wherever you feel like you need to change the topology of the terrain. Okay, so I'll go ahead and call that a day on that one. And let me go ahead and save this as part 3 now. Oops, part 3. Save. Okay. And let me go ahead and do a test render just to see see if this looks okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, well that's looking good, but I think that mountaintop needs to be a lot higher. So if we look at our reference again, you can see that we got some hills in here and then that tall mountain. So real quick, let's jump in here and let's just go into edit mode. Make sure our proportional fall off is turned on. Go to our top view so we can get in here a little bit quicker. And let's grab these guys right here. And then we'll just drag those up about like so. Maybe grab that guy, move him up some. Okay. So I think this might look a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and save that. Go ahead and render out. Be right back with the render results. So stand by. Okay, yeah, I'm liking that a lot better. That looks a lot better, I think. One thing that I noticed in the reference is there's a lot more rocks laying around. So let me go ahead and escape out of this render here. We'll throw some more rocks in there, and then we'll be done tweaking the scene. Then we'll go on with the other stuff. I promised you the atmospheric perspective and things like that. So let's go and escape out one time. Let's turn on our rocks layer and go over to our particle system here, rocks and emission. Let's go ahead and set that up quite a bit more. Let's say quite a bit. Let's make it 1200. Okay, and then maybe 1500. Let's make it 1500. And then we'll come down here under physics and maybe make the rocks a little bit bigger. About 0.2, and maybe set the random down just a little bit. And let's play with the seed a little bit more. go back to 14. I think I like the looks of that one. Okay, let's go ahead and save that one. And one final test render, and then we'll call the tweaking session done, and we'll get on with it. So let's see what it looks like real quick. Okay, so there we are. The honestly, the rocks don't look quite as good as I'd hoped, but like I said, we'll quit dinking with it for now. Let's go ahead and escape out, and let's turn that layer up. Oh, it's bugging me. I'll just go back down to. Let's go back down to 10. Anyways, okay, we'll go ahead and save that, and let's turn that off so it's not staring me right in the face. Okay, now bring back the source image, not source image, but the comp. Now you notice that the closer the island is to the camera, the more distinctive it is, and the further you get away there on the ocean as well, it kind of starts fading out. Now in Blender, that's called a mist setting, but us artists refer to that as atmospheric perspective. So it means like the moisture in the air, the further you get away, the thicker it gets or appears to be. So that's kind of what gives it that illusion, or not the illusion, but in real life, that's what causes the phenomenon, I guess. Anyways, so we can duplicate that here in Blender by, we turn on our camera, or grab our camera, go over to our camera settings, you turn on the display the mist, and now if we come out here to the side view, you can see this orange line appears. If you turn that on and off, you can see, and that is the distance the mist is going to cover. It's going to start right here and it's going to end here. So it's going to start getting fuzzy here, but by the time you get to this part, it's going to be completely whited out. So we don't want it quite that thick over the islands, so we'll go to our world settings now. Scroll down here to mist, and we turn that on. See, it starts at 5, so if you wiggle that, you can see it change. So let's make it start at about, let's make it start at 7, and then we'll set the depth a little bit further out. Let's make that 40. So we're going to start at 7 and end at 40. So if we were to render now, just real quick, let me turn off all these guys so we don't have to wait on it forever. Go ahead and hit F12. And we turn that mist settings on there, right there, under our world settings. So I'll go ahead and let you watch some of the render here. And you can already see the top of the mountain is kind of blurred out a little bit. And as you get further down, closer to the camera, the shoreline, it looks a little bit more clear, more sharp. Okay, Blender crashed on me, so let's start back where we were. Luckily, we just saved it after we messing with the rocks there. So let me go ahead and turn those off again, and then turn all these guys off so they don't render. And then, like I said, I'll go ahead and turn off the subsurf as well. Why not? Make sure mist. Okay, gotta set all that back up, I suppose. Love those crashes. Not really. Turn on mists. Okay. Mist settings starting at 7, ending at 40. Okay, so now save that. Okay, so now I'll render it out, and I won't make you watch this time. So hopefully Blender won't crash on me again. So hold on just a second. Okay, so that rendered out okay. Now as you can see, it kind of looks nice, fine and dandy. The ocean starts fading out, you know, right before the island, and kind of fades out into the distance back there, the horizon. And the tops of the mountains, little blurred out, or not blurred out, but kind of faded out more than, say, the beach line there. So that works all nice and fine, but if we render with all of our particle systems turned on, it doesn't behave quite so nicely. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. Okay, I stopped rendering halfway through just so you could see what it's doing here. It's still fading out the mountain and the oceans, but the particle emitter, the particle system doesn't play well with the mist fall off. So there is a way around it. We just have to tell it not to render the mist settings in the render window, but we still need to give it the mist information, the depth that it's using. So come down here under our render layers down to mist and go ahead and check that. And then we'll go ahead and we got to save often now since I crashed earlier. Now we'll go ahead and render out the full scene and make sure that's selected, and then it'll render that into the information, and then we can get into the compositor and then use it to our advantage that way. So I'll go ahead and let this render out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's all rendered out. And as you can see, the mist settings are no longer in effect. But since we had that checked, it did keep the information in the render buffer. So if we split our window over here, or it's already split, if we just go to this one over here, go up to our node editor, and we're still in the texture settings from when we used for the island in part 1. So if we go to our the scene nodes right there, and go ahead and turn on use nodes, go ahead and turn on backdrop so we can see what we're doing. And if we just kind of hit our play button, it'll pop that image in there. Okay, and then also we need to add a viewer node so we can see it in the background here. So we'll split that up to there. Okay, let's make that. Actually, let's go ahead and merge these two together, like so. And now, as you can see, normally in your compositor render layers, you only have image, alpha, and Z. But since we checked this mist over here when we rendered, boom, it's set in here too. Now, if you click on this and drag it over to there, you can see a visual representation of what the mist is enshrouding. So you can edit that, the difference, you can edit that by going to Add Converter Color Ramp, and we'll pop that in there. And if you bring the white up, it makes the white more white and goes further back, and then the black, oh, if it'll let me grab it. Grab it. There it goes. You can bring the back of the mist all the way up, so you can see it eventually start fading out the mountain too, like so. So that'll give you a little bit of control there. So now what we want to do is use a color mix, and we're going to put that up in here to where the image of the island is going to be on the second spot there. And then for right now, we could just go with the solid white color here, but I'm going to go ahead and add an input RGB, and that's going to be almost the same color, just a soft light bluish color, about like so. And we're going to add that to where the white color is. And then we're going to change the factor of the mix value here by using our mist settings. So we'll grab this image here and go up to factor. And then we'll drag the output down to the viewer so we can see what we're doing. And you can see that it fades out quite nicely. This kind of gives it that mist effect, but it also affects the particle system, the rendered particles. So that's a cool, easy way to get that done and make it look nice. So like I said, you can edit the fall off of the mist here if you like. Say you want to, not that much. So you want to cut part of the island off just a little bit, like so. That's how you do that. So we'll give it just a little bit, about like so. Okay. And then one other thing that's missing is a nice cloudy background. So let's go ahead and save this. And we're going to once again go over to our cgtextures.com. So let's expand that out, and let's type in clouds here in the search there, so I don't have to try to figure out where to go. And let's find some nice puffy clouds that we can put in the background. Kind of like that one. We'll open that one in a new tab. Just middle mouse wheel button click. Scroll down here. Next, just kind of see what we got here. Yeah, these are kind of nice looking, but I think the sunlight's from the back side instead of where I want. Those would work, but they're too small, too far away. So, these look okay. Let's see what that looks like. Let's go with these. Let's click on that. Okay, I'm going to save it to the same spot. DTA one click. Down them all one click. There we go. And let's open up GIMP again. There we go. Still got that grass selected. Go ahead and X that out. File open. And skies. There it is. Okay, it's got an embedded color file. Go ahead and convert it. Okay. So, this makes an appropriate image. The looks like it's over the ocean, part of an ocean. So let's go ahead and crop some of that. About like so. See if I can zoom in 100%. Okay. Oh, that is 100%. Yeah. Well, I need a bigger image than that then, so don't save that one. Let's go back to CG textures. Close that out. Okay. Well, here's a great big one. Okay, let's do that one. Okay. Yeah, there's 3 different size options. I guess I got the smallest one there. Okay, so that finished. We'll open that one up. Sky is L. I guess that means large. Open that up. And convert the color space. Okay, yeah. So let's crop this in. About like so. Is that 100%? No, it's 50%. Good. So let's go 100%. Yeah, that'll work great. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, now what I'm going to do, so we have a nice different, a nice separation from the clouds to the sky. Let's see, I want to grab that layer and move it up just a little bit. Quite a bit, actually. About to there. Okay, then I'm going to come over to my Layers tab, create a new one. Create a new layer. Yes. And let me cancel that. Let's pick the color I want to fill it with. So let's grab our eyedropper. Let's make this window a little smaller here. Grab our eyedropper tool right there, and let's pick this color there in the sky, maybe about that one there. Okay, and now we're going to go new image, or new layer, and we want to fill it with our foreground color, which is the blue we just selected. Say OK, and let's drag it down, or not drag it, but hit the little down arrow to put it down below the cloud background, and then we'll grab our pink eraser and make the scale a little bit bigger and change the brush to more of a faded out size. There we go, and make it a little bigger then. Oops. Okay. For some reason it's wanting to erase part of it, not make it white. Let me fiddle with the tools here, and I'll be right back. Okay, I think I figured it out. You can imagine my frustration coming from Photoshop to GIMP. Sometimes the tools don't work the same that you would think. So anyways, we'll grab that layer, drag them up about like so, maybe a little higher. Okay, and now in order to be able to erase it, I guess I have to go new from visible, and then I can erase that one, but this one's the background layer. So let's go ahead and create a new layer here. Foreground color, blue. Okay, now we'll select that guy, set our eraser tool, and everything's unchecked there. So now make the opacity way up there, maybe about 75. And now we'll brush on there and kind of clean that up. Delete some of these guys. Okay, so let's make it get any bigger than that. Maybe gently start fading some of this out up here so it's not such a harsh cutoff line. Okay, that'll work. Let's go ahead and do a save as now. And I was doing PNGs before because we needed transparency, but we don't really need it now since it's just the background color. So let's just name it clouds and leave it with the JPG. Save and export and quality all the way up to 100. Save. Okay, now I think we're done with GIMP. Okay, so now I'm going to add an input. This one's going to be a texture. Actually, not a texture. Delete that. Add an input image. There we go. Make it a little bigger. Hit the open there. And textures, clouds, open. And there we go. Okay. So now the reason I did before I made this color instead of just using the color up there is because I want to mix these two together and put that as the background image. So let's do this. Add color mix. I guess I could have done it in here. But in any case, it works. So we'll add that together. And then you can see that it's putting that as the background nicely. However, if we go Alt V, or V actually, you can zoom in and out of your window here. You can see that the sky is a lot bigger than the rendered image. So what we need to do is add a Distort Scale. Go and drag that up into that line there. Automatically connects it. And under Relative, click that and go to Render Size. And boom, makes it nice. Excuse me. Makes it nice and part of the image. So right now our clouds are perfectly the way we brought them in, and I was wanting to mix them with this soft blue color there. So let's the factor down a little bit. You can see them start to fade out some. Maybe we change that from the bright blue to maybe a bit more gray. Okay, there we go. And another thing we can do, right here on our color ramp for our mist settings, instead of it being a solid white to black, we can add one more color in there. If you hit Control, it'll add another line in there. Then we can grab this guy, make this guy a little bit brighter. And that'll make our fall off a little bit smoother there. Okay, so that's pretty well it. One last thing I'll tell you before we call it a day, all done, is if you look closely, if we Alt V in here, there's a little line outlining the mountain right there, and I don't like that because, well, it shouldn't be there. The way to get rid of it is to, in your render settings, come down here, collapse the layers there, under anti-aliasing, set full sample, and we'll go ahead and hit 5 there, render a little bit faster. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now, one thing to keep in mind is once you have all your stuff set up, it's a good idea to render out and get everything set up here without the full sample. And then when you're all done, then hit full sample, then do one final render. Because if you render full sample as you're messing with it, you're going to lose your anti-aliasing, and it'll be really pixelated there along the edges and things like that. So, I keep hitting the wrong button. There we go. Okay, so we'll do one final render just so we can see it without the white line right there. And one thing I'm going to do before I quit there is the ocean waves seem to be a little too big now. So let's edit that really quick. Like, go to 3D view here, select our ocean, material settings. There we go, texture, and let's make that cloud setting a little bit smaller, 0.005, probably good. Okay, so I'll go ahead and save that, and again, full sample's turned on because we're all set with our compositing, and we'll hit render, and we'll call it done, and we'll see what it looks like. So be right back. Okay, and there's our finished island. Like I said, we turn on full sample, and you don't see that line there anymore. So there you go. And the ocean waves look a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Call this island part 3. Oops, went to the wrong folder somehow. Island. I just got a new mouse. It's kind of squirrely, I think. So we'll hit that. Part 3 results. Go ahead and save that. Now, since we have that saved, let me show you what happens if we tweak any of this. So keep a good eye on there. See how it's nice and smooth along the edges. If we even mess with the color ramp for our mist settings, boom. See how that happens? Kills all your anti-aliasing. So once again, you can render it out and mess with it without the full sample turned on. And once you get everything set the way you want, then turn it on and render, or you're gonna have to render it again anyways. So so yeah, there we go. I'll go ahead and open up the good looking one. If I can find it over here. Okay, here it is. All right, so zoom in there. So that turned out pretty decent, I think. It doesn't look exactly like the original source that I was showing you, but it's pretty close. So that's going to do it for this island set tutorial series. So thanks for watching, and I'd love to see the islands you guys come up with. So just, render them out, make them, and put them down in the gallery section. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.